Good evening. I'm Gary Rakes, President of the Speedway Town Council. It's Monday, September 25th, 2017. It's 7 p.m. and I call the Speedway Town Council meeting to order. I want to announce those participating this evening and then move straight to the Pledge of Allegiance. To my immediate right is Vice President of the Council, Jeff Matthews.
Good evening.
To my left are David Lindsay, Councilor.
Good evening.
Jason Delisle, Councilor.
Good evening.
Town Manager Jacob Blaisdell.
Good evening, Speedway.
And our Clerk Treasurer, Monty Combs.
Good evening.
If everyone would rise and please salute the flag, and I'll go ahead and lead us in the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, everyone. First couple of items on the agenda this evening are approval or review and approval of minutes. The first one is approval of Town Council meeting on September 11th. Any changes or questions or comments to that? We'll approve that as distributed. Next one is approval of a memorandum of executive session on that same date, September 11th, 2017. Any changes to that? That's accepted also as distributed previously. Item 4 on the agenda is approval of interlocal agreement between Wayne Township, Marion County, and the Speedway Fire Department. You want to bring Chief forward?
Yeah, we'll have Chief come up and please just describe what the agreement is for and what we're doing here with Wayne Township.
Yeah, you guys have had a chance to look at it, and Councilor Lindsay even asked a few questions. So this memorandum is virtually identical from the memorandum that we used to have in place with what was known as MECA, or Public Safety Communications. So Telestaff is in the process of changing all their software, and similar to the way radios and repair and all of that used to be paid for by MECA, obviously no one's picking up that tab. So we had a few options. We sat down with the Indianapolis Fire Department, we sat down with Wayne Township, with Pike Township, because it's not cost effective for us to purchase a server and do all of the maintenance for that to get that up and running. It just made sense that we go in with our 35 personnel with one of the neighboring departments. Wayne gave us the best proposal, which is just per user. We don't have any financial obligation past what we're paying per person, so we're not paying any more than what Wayne Township's not trying to make money on us. But going forward, MECA wasn't going to pick this up or maintain it anymore. So Dave asked a really good question, and that is, what if our PD wanted to do this similar type of staffing? With the new software, all we would have to do is train them a little bit and add them in. What we use Telestaff for, and what the rest of the county uses Telestaff for, is we can look at what the other agencies are staffing on their vehicles, trucks, who's out of service, who's in service. We also utilize Telestaff for logging in our accruals, our accrued time, our time off, our vacation calendar, our overtime. It gives me the ability to run one report, then I put that on a spreadsheet, input it into Paycor, and send that to Monty so that he has a electronic record of what I put into overtime and that sort of thing. So this agreement literally is almost identical to what we've had for the last, prior to us having, staffing. When I first came on, obviously we didn't have electronic staffing where the whole county could see each other. So we're just asking to approve the agreement between us and Wayne, and we will have access to all of our user information, any of that. It's not proprietary. They can't keep it from us, and that's what we're asking for you guys to approve. So.
Thank you, Chief. Do we have a motion on this, please?
Mr. President, I make a motion that we accept the interlocal user agreement between Wayne Township and the Town of Speedway Fire Department.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion regarding this interlocal agreement. Do we have some questions for Chief?
Chief, I already pointed out to you before the meeting. We've already talked about this, but there's a typo on this, and I'll show that to you, which I already have. You can just have my copy of it. And we're
The safely changed to safety?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Any other questions? I do have, I think I know the answer to these questions, but just to make sure we get it on the public
Sure.
record. How do we do it today? How do we account for these things that we're going to be doing in this? What's the process today? It's with what used to be Mecca,
No, it is Telestaff.
yes.
It's still Telestaff, but Telestaff is changing all of their software, and that all had to be updated by the end of this year. And so, once the end of this year is over, Mecca and Public Safety Communications is doing none of it. It's up to the departments. All the Marion County departments are staying with Telestaff, but that's why we needed, and they're all doing their own servers and all of that sort of thing. Is that the question you're asking?
Yeah, I think what I'm trying to get to is, this is something that, over the years, the taxes that we pay to the city of Indianapolis and in Marion County in different ways, all going way back to Unigov and the formation of Mecca and then disillusion, if I can use that word, of Mecca. And
It's exactly what it was. Yeah.
so this not being updated is another reach on the county's part into Speedway to say, we're not going to take care of things we've been taking care of for going back to 1970 with the formation of Unigov.
Yeah, and we're
Expensive.
lucky that we had some options, and, Trustee Harris and the
Yeah.
Wayne Township Fire Department, Speedway's completely inside of Wayne Township. They do our victims assistance. It was just kind of a no-brainer to
Yeah.
partner.
I know they're good partners. I know IFD is a good partner of ours as well.
Yeah,
This is
definitely.
not reflecting on any of the fire departments. It's just a business issue related to governing units,
Right.
not fire departments. So
Yeah,
to be
and
clear.
even Public Safety Communications does a great job. They still do a great deal for us, even though we have our own, CAD and, our own dispatch, but it's just another one of those things that if you don't think about some of the boards you're getting rid of and their ability to get grants, that, it costs you a little bit here and there.
That's right.
Nickel and dime you.
Any other questions? Okay. Chief, thank you for that. We'll go ahead
you.
and call for the vote, but just wanted to get some of those things on the record, so thank you. No further questions. Go ahead and call for the vote. All those in favor of approving the user agreement the interlocal user agreement as presented with the change to safely to safety, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries 4-0. And on to item 5, Resolution 2017-12. Jacob?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. This is a resolution to approve a lease agreement with Regions Equipment Finance Corporation. As we've discussed in the past, a few of our fire vehicles and police vehicles are near or close to, maybe some are a little bit beyond the typical useful life when we transfer those out for new vehicles. This is a resolution that would give the authority to provide a financing for those three fire trucks and 12 police vehicles. We are making a couple of minor tweaks to the technical language within the resolution, so we will propose this at the next council meeting for approval, but wanted to go ahead and provide an update on where that's at and the purpose of the resolution.
Great. Any questions for Jacob? Okay. The only thing I'd make a comment on, because you and I had a chance to talk about this beforehand, this is for budgeted items in the fire department for this year, so this is why we're addressing it now instead of waiting till 18.
Correct, and the payment is also in the proposed 2018 budget.
Great, thank you. Go ahead and move on to item 6. Monty, your report and claims and utility adjustments as well, please.
Yeah, first of all, obviously on the claims I presented to you on the council, this takes place from September the 9th through September 22nd, and I would appreciate your approval.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the claims as presented.
Second?
We have a motion to approve claims from the clerk treasurer. Any questions or comments? Any from the audience? All those in favor of approving the claims, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 4-0.
Thank you. Utility adjustments, you have that as well. Pleased to say we're not having to print, using so many pieces of paper to print them anymore, which is good. And again, I'd ask for your approval. It's also from September 9th through September 22nd.
Great.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the utility adjustments as printed.
Second.
We have a motion to approve the utility adjustments. I'd just make one comment. I love the single paper, but I also like the dollar amount. It's
Yeah, that helps too,
$125, so.
That helps too.
Over the years, it's, until the last couple of years, you've gotten this very much under control. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions?
No, sir.
Any from the
No.
audience? All those in favor of approving the adjustments to the utility adjustments, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those adjustments carry 4-0 as well. Anything else, Monty?
No, sir. Sorry, I jumped in there a little quick.
Town manager, Jacob, do you have a report this evening?
I do, yes, thank you, Mr. President. First things first, want to, there's a proposed party that didn't quite make it onto the agenda for tonight, so would like to ask the council for concurrence on approving a road closure for a block party. I don't know if we're invited or not, but I hope that doesn't change your decision on this. It's for Saturday, October the 7th. And the road that would be closed is Auburn Street between 16th and Speedway Drive. So it's that kind of pocket that's just south of Crawfordsville Road. And it would be closed from 2 to 11. My understanding is that they do not require police assistance. The street department blocks off a few road blockage areas. Obviously, it's not a particularly busy street, but do need official approval to do so, and would ask each member for concurrence on doing that. Concur?
Yes.
All right, 4-0. Thank you. Again, don't know if we're invited or not, but we should be. Okay, so this past week, I was fortunate to spend a little time away. So first and foremost, appreciate the help and assistance from my very capable leadership team. Everything functioned as expected. I was out in Denver in the Rocky Mountains, and it was kind of neat to see they're in the process of preparing for ski season, which is kind of like their version of May. And you just see, they're trying to wrap up all the construction projects, the stores are trying to get ready. So it's kind of neat to see other communities deal with just a sudden onslaught of thousands and thousands of people. But nice to be out there. Few updates, reminders, things I want to bring to folks' attention. We did have some police out looking at the Hawk system, and just want to remind folks of the way it functions. So I think everybody realizes that when it's red, solid red, you have to stop. It seems like there's a little bit of confusion. I know our officers issued, as far as I know, just warnings to some folks, but when the lights then start flashing back and forth, it then acts as a stop sign. And the problem that they're seeing is that folks will just kind of roll through it then, and you are allowed to go through it if it's flashing and there's nobody in the intersection, but at that point, it does act as a stop sign. So effectively, we ask vehicles to stop completely, come to complete stop, make sure nobody's in the intersection, and then proceed to go through. So just want to remind folks that yes, you can go through when it's flashing, but you need to make sure you come to complete stop before doing so. Also want to provide a quick update on the sewer expansion project. So I guess I just want to make sure folks understand that we're in the very early stages of this project. In fact, we're at the kind of looking at funding mechanism stage, and we're applying for grant funds to potentially move forward with the project. We're going to be sending out door hangers to every house that would potentially be affected. That's the houses that are on septic tanks in the Wickham area. And then shortly after that would start looking for, people should start looking for the actual income survey that's going to go out. And again, that's not going to ask for any identifying information. Anybody on the council, we're not going to see the results. We're going to have a third-party consultant that's going to tabulate all the results for us and then certify those that we'll be able to provide with their grant application. So that project is, continuing to work forward, but again, in the very, very early stages of it. Don't know if folks noticed this or not. It was a minor adjustment, but we worked with the city, which controls the lights on Crawfordsville Road, to, during rush hour, increase the green light for westbound traffic on Crawfordsville Road. We were getting a lot of backups, frankly, that I noticed when I was in my previous position driving home from downtown, that it gets backed up pretty badly during rush hour. And so we've worked with the city to increase that from just the rush hour times by about 3 seconds. So don't know if folks notice that or not, but we're working to try to get traffic through there as quickly as we can. And for folks that have noticed that or been irritated by it, we're doing what we can in that area. And I think this is my last opportunity to mention the Speedway Home Helpers program. We're fortunate we have some projects, some really good projects we can help some folks out with. We still do need volunteers though. You can, if you're lucky, you'll get to work with me on Saturday morning, or not work with me. You can request whatever you want. But there's some really good projects out there, some folks in town that could use some help and should be nice. So if you're interested in volunteering, you can contact myself or Michelle Leidy, who's been really spearheading this for the town. You can reach out to her as well. And then last but not least, tomorrow, I usually have a backward-facing kind of update, but tomorrow I'm participating in the Fire Ops 101 program. Chief Fishburne forced me to do it, and he promised to be a beautiful early fall day, and instead I'm going to be fighting fires in 90-degree weather, so wearing full gear. So looking forward to that. If I don't make it, you can all make it back. You can all blame Chief Fishburne. So that's my update. Thank you.
Great. Next, thanks for the report, and glad you had a good few days off. Thanks for your efforts. First up, Dave Lindsay.
Just remind everyone of National Night Out at Leonard Park, Tuesday night, 5:30 to 7:30. Police department will be there, fire department's going to be there. It's a great event. Encourage everyone to come out to that. That's all I've got.
Jason.
Nothing for me.
Great. And Jeff, any comments this evening?
I do. Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to welcome the Sports Car Club of America. They've got the runoffs this week. 994 entries. So on average, each entry probably brings 4 to 5 people with them. So we've got at least 5,000 new residents to the town of Speedway. So welcome them when you see them. Practice and qualifying are this week, so the sounds of cars are music to my ears, I know, in the neighborhood. So, and then the class finals are going to be Saturday and Sunday, so it'll be a good weekend for racing. Also, with the Speedway Home Helpers, we definitely need volunteers, so come out and support, and that's all I have.
Jeff, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit here. You're our resident racing expert. They're called the runoffs, and I'm assuming they're building towards next weekend. You mentioned it briefly, but so what are they doing every day as we go on? Obviously, there's practice at first, but what are they doing?
Well, right now they're just practicing. There's I believe there's 6 different categories of racing, everything from open wheel to from full-bodied sports cars. So right now they're just testing, qualifying, and these fields they've got several cars in each of them, 994 cars total. So it's a neat show. Come out and see it.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I would just my report. I would add. Was that the only thing you had? I'm sorry.
That's it. Yeah.
So Friday night was on Main Street, a couple different places, and met lots of visitors you described. It was really pretty neat for all the people I met. This is the first time they've been here, and they race several weekends of the year around the country. They spend tens of thousands of dollars as personal hobbies for most of them. Some of these folks didn't seem to have any more monies than what those of us in Speedway had. So this is their passion that they probably spend more money on than most of us do on hobbies. But they loved what they were seeing, the opportunity to drive and be a part of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. They loved being on our Main Street. A couple of them talked about being out by the interstate and checking out a couple of restaurants. They didn't know they were brand new like we know them as new, but it was just really encouraging to hear literally a dozen, maybe 15 people Friday evening alone, just striking up conversation and hearing the positive stuff about our community. So.
I do want to add one
Please.
thing. Just kind of piggyback off what you just said. So I too was downtown on Main Street on Saturday, and I want to give a quick shout out to my new racing friend Chaz Schaefer. He's racing in the Formula Continental Series, number 35. He he and I struck up a pretty good friendship. His generator quit on him, so he had no power, no AC.
Did you help him
So
out?
I did. I invited him over to my house, and he's now borrowing my generator. So look for car number 35. He's cool.
I'm
That's it.
guessing there's a few car number 35s, but,
The fast one.
okay,
The
all
fast
right.
one.
yeah. Anyway, it was, it's a great story. I met, like I said, maybe 12 to 15 people Friday night. I received 3 LinkedIn invitations and a couple of Facebook invitations from those same people the same night or the next day. So they're definitely tuning into what's going on. They want to come back. They're already saying it. So we'll see whether that happens. Told them they need to get here in the month of May and the month of July and the month of, so on. So that was pretty neat. Last week, on Friday, I was fortunate to serve on the Fuller Center for Housing Board, and Allison Transmission has been an amazing partner. They've just completed their 3rd home. It's on 10th Street, kind of catty corner from Muggenville. The other 3 homes that have been constructed, or the other 2 homes and this one have been constructed in the last 5 years, pretty much at their cost. In addition to materials and purchasing the lot, a variety of other things that they contribute. They also contribute 24 to 36 people for 2 weeks from their factory, from their offices, from their executive team that come in and work side by side and build a home for a family that ends up paying for the home. They get a really good interest rate, 0. But this is a family that fell on hard times early, but they've shown an ability to come out of those hard times, work hard, improve themselves over time, and they have the opportunity to do it again by first leasing this home for a couple of years, and then if all continues to go well, and most of our homes in Fuller Center and its sister company, Habitat, which does literally hundreds of thousands of homes worldwide, most of these homes go very well. It's probably, the percentage of success is probably similar to what mortgage companies have. And in this case, we're absolutely helping people that need it and step forward and do good things. So I won't name the names just to protect the privacy, but this is a woman who has 3 children. One's just graduated high school, one's in grade school, and one's in junior high school. And they help the whole way in terms of being there. It's just a great success story, and I want to thank Allison as well as Lutheran Church.
St. Andrews?
St. Andrews, yes, I apologize to Dan, Pastor Dan and his team. They were there serving lunch every day and coming beside that family. Just doing a great job. So I don't want to belabor this anymore, but just lots of other folks from Lyons to Westport Homes that volunteered time, and we dedicated the home to them on Friday. So anyway, I think that's all I have to report. I appreciate everyone in their hard work, and we look forward to the next meeting, and we'll go ahead and call this meeting adjourned at 7:23.